Okay, let's bring in our guest. Ryan Helsley from the St. Louis Cardinals joining us right now. Always spilling the conversation right into it. So, Ryan, how you doing? And I'll confirm here with Ryan, I'm sure I know the answer. Are wins important in the clubhouse amongst players?
Yeah, I would say so. I think guys value wins. I think Wayno's 2 wins away from 200, and I think that's a milestone he's been chasing for a while, and probably something he feels like that if he gets there, kind of solidifies his career. Because he's had a great career in pretty much every other aspect, and I think 200 is like one of those big milestones that he's trying to hit. And
That's my
wins
point.
just feel better too. They look better on your record.
Yeah, of course. I'm with you. It's my point. I think it's most important in the clubhouse with players. You disagree?
No, I agree. But I think if you ask Ryan, would you rather have wins or losses on his record? Would you rather have wins or losses on your record?
That's just a stupid question.
Why? Because it kills your argument right away?
No, it's
because I just killed your. Bye, you're gone.
Ryan, would you rather have a 2 ERA or a 12 ERA? Like, come on.
Okay, Ryan. If you have a 2 ERA versus a 12 ERA, are you gonna have more wins or losses? You're probably gonna have more wins.
I'm just telling you. I'm telling you what people are gonna say. They're already saying it.
So
already saying it.
Hold on. So then do this. All right, Ryan. Sorry you got brought into this argument, but here it is.
He's heard it before.
Your season ends. You have a 1.5 ERA. You were absolutely a boss, okay? And you have 6 wins. You end the season with a 3.2 ERA, but you picked up 12 wins, which is 10 wins. I'll even be closer. I'll be fair. But you had 10 wins, which is a more successful season.
I think the ERA. I'd much rather have a better ERA than wins, honestly.
It depends, though, because, okay.
You could be on a shitty bullpen team.
No, listen, as a reliever and what he is, if he has a higher ERA and more wins, you know what that means? He vultured the shit out of some games. and he's scratching him. No, they know he vultured them. He gave up the lead, and his team came back and picked him up. That's why that's not even a fair argument, because if he has a lot of wins and he has a higher ERA, that means he gave it up, and he knows I'm right. That's why he can't say anything.
Yeah, but he's talking about starters, though.
Yeah, but he's not a starter.
I know, but this is fun. That was a good answer, though. See? Is ERA the most important stat? I think this is
for him, holds and saves.
What's the most important stat among pitchers, and then what's the most important stat for you?
I think for starters, even though the game's kind of gone away from it, I think should be innings pitched. I feel like a lot of guys haven't been going as deep, the last few years. Is like, used to starting pitchers, like your only job was to keep it close for as long as possible, then to hand it over to the bullpen. And now it's like if you get through 5, you're handed over to the bullpen immediately because of all the metrics and stuff they use nowadays and for most teams. And, the bullpen, I think it just depends on where you're pitching. You have long guys, you have guys who are always pitching in leverage. So, as a closer, as long as you get the job done, as long as you keep the game right there, I think you're doing your job. Obviously, you can have guys who have a lot of saves with a higher ERA, and then, guys with low ERAs and not have many saves or holds. So, I think as long as you're getting the job done, when you come to the game, then that's what matters most.
All right, when you go to arbitration, what didn't you go to? You went to arbitration, didn't you, this year?
Yeah.
Did you win? You lost, right?
Lost, yeah.
Okay, so what did they talk about? Here it is, Scott. What did they argue against you in arbitration? This is it. Here you go. What did they argue against you?
Yeah, basically they said I didn't have enough holds and saves for like my career. Had one really good year, obviously last year in 2022. But overall, I needed more, saves and holds compared to the guys, that they brought up and stuff like that. So.
What I say the most important numbers for him: holds and saves.
Why are you pointing to me?
Because you were arguing with me. I said you have holds and saves.
Was you're too obsessed with wins?
Okay, and then after Ryan, what was your argument back?
And also, arbitration is bullshit.
No, it's not.
Yes,
I've been to it. I won, so I don't care. It was awesome. Ryan, now what did you argue for?
Just like all the other numbers too, like strikeouts, walk percent. I had 9 wins and 1 loss last year. I had the best batting average against. It was like 120, I think. So pretty much every other stat besides holds and saves to try to kind of, I guess, almost not really take their attention away, but show that I was good in other areas too, and not just the ones that mattered most.
Okay. Right. So my question is, nobody's brought it up yet. To me, a bullpen guy, the most important stat is inherited runners. Because if you're coming in with the muck and you get out of there and you don't give up your inherited runners, is that valuable to the guys in the pen? Do you guys ever talk about that? Like, oh, bro, Gio, like, you're always cashing my runs in. Like, let's get that curveball going a little bit sooner. Like, do you guys give each other a hard time?
Not really. You just try to pick your teammate up out there, whether you're going in after the starter or one of your bullpen guys. Maybe he doesn't have it that day. You just try to, keep it right where it's at. But I definitely think that's a stat that can be used to, help guys get paid more. And I think it's called like latent critical, and there's another stat for it, but basically just shows how, hectic of a situation you're brought into most times of the game. And I think that could be another way to show that, guys pitch well, in big time situations and, can help them with their value in the future.
Okay. See, inherited runners too. If you're Ryan Helsley and you come in and get a clean ninth and you get 1, 2, 3, you can't really get an inherited runner. So that it's all about where you pitch and how you pitch and what situations you're in, right? If you're Ryan and you come in and base load and you get out of it, yeah. But if you're like Josh Hader, I can only pitch 1 inning and I have to start a clean inning and then see.
Why are you saying it like a robot?
Because that's I can only pitch 1 inning. I don't want to do 4 outfits.
Okay, he did that
because he did argue that.
Huh? He did that for a long time, though. He pitched many innings.
But then he went to arbitration and said, well, that doesn't matter, so I'm going back to the 3-inning save only. So
okay.
It's all relative of what situation you're put in. I want to, Ryan, forget these guys. Kratz, you're good, but forget whatever Scott says, ignore. Hit the ignore button on Scott. We're going to mute his mic. I want to go back to this weekend. You got your first taste of Elly De La Cruz, and Scott has been LA every day, right? I mean, he had a great weekend against you guys.
AJ didn't want him called up, so
that's not true. Again, ignore him. Please ignore him.
I mean, you're going to tell me to shut up, but you guys were not excited about Elly De La Cruz.
Okay, lies. Save it. We were excited, but lies. Okay. So Ryan, what did you think of him when you saw him? And then I want to ask you. I have a follow up after you see because he scored the winning run on a ground ball and was just all over the place. So what did you see out of him? And should Scott be as excited as he is?
I mean, yeah, I think he's held his own so far. He played LA and then came to St. Louis and played well too. And, was hitting 350 or whatever. Obviously it's a really small sample size, but, has handled it well. And it's obviously flashed great tools, and fast as lightning out there around the bases and, makes it look super easy. And, I think he's going to be a good player for sure.
Did you guys give Waino shit for him beating him to first base on the ground ball?
No, I haven't yet. I'm sure the starters might have because they have some banter back and forth with each other.
Okay, because it was like a 2-hopper to the first baseman. You see Waino, and the guy Elly De La Cruz just blows by him.
I think that's when everybody realized that his speed was real. If he's beating a pitcher who's halfway to first already, down the line for an infield hit.
Okay, understood. And Waino is like 50 years old. So, he's got like a cane out there. Let's not forget. I watched the game yesterday, and I watched the late innings. I know you pitched on Friday. You didn't pitch Saturday. Is there, and maybe you don't know the answer to this, but is there a reason why you didn't pitch in the game yesterday? Because I thought it was a perfect situation for you to come in. I know Hicks was in the game and Gallegos came in, but that seemed like when he got on third, I was like, man, if they could bring in Helsley here, he could blow him away. Not that Hicks throws soft, but that was it seemed like from a fan watching, that was a perfect situation for you to come into and get him out of it.
Yeah. I guess it just kind of depends, whatever. I feel like it's hard as a manager, really knowing how to use your bullpen, especially in long stretches, like a guy who hadn't pitched in a few days. You're like, oh, it's kind of a tight game here. We're down by 1. Let's use them. And then, we're up by 1 or 2 or 3 the next 3 or 4 days, and then, well, I've pitched 2 or 3 days in a row. I can't go today. So I feel like that's always a hard balance to, try to get right. And so, those guys have a tough job. And, usually they come to me before the game, if they have, hey, if this situation happens, you haven't pitched in 3 days, we want to maybe use you here in the 7th or 8th if guys are on or whatever the situation may be. So they usually do a good job of, having that line of communication.
Well, you hadn't pitched since Wednesday, so it was Sunday. That's kind of, I think I said Friday. I got confused. My days are all screwed up because I have to listen to Scott all the time.
He's got the poker face the whole time as you and me are going at it too. He's like, just let them make fun of each other. Anyway.
That's perfect. That's more why I was asking, because you hadn't pitched since Wednesday. So then you're thinking, okay, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that's a bunch of days in a row. So you're okay, right? I want to make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Listen, as a player, I get it. You're good.
Hey, we were talking about Elly, and I don't want to necessarily only talk about Elly, but if you see a guy like that is a toolsy player, an all-star type of guy, would you rather face a guy who has blazing speed and can beat you to first base like he beat Waino? Would you rather face the guy that has power but no hit, or would you rather face like a Luis Ariz type of guy?
I don't know. That's tough. I mean, probably the guy with power, with who strikes out a lot, or all or none type of guy. Shouldn't get him out more times than not. And Arise, I was hitting 400, and I've faced him a lot in the minor leagues. And I can't remember back in the minor leagues, but he's always hitting the ball, putting the ball in play. Even in today's game. And De La Cruz, he's gonna be a stud. He's got all the tools, so he's probably the hardest guy to get out. Overall, and it'll be interesting to see how he fares the rest of the way.
Dude, no one can hit 104. Okay, let's just you just rear back and here comes 104, dude. I don't care who you are, Rise, De La Cruz, dude. 104 is 104. I don't care.
And he's got competition though too.
Who?
Like Ben Joyce.
Oh, he's hurt though.
Right, but
Ryan's not hurt. I know. Him and Hicks those 102 too. I mean,
yeah,
but
like
those are sinkers. Hicks doesn't strike out dudes.
Minnesota, Duran, he throws really hard as well.
Oh yeah, he beat you the other day. Are you pissed about that? He beat you. He went 105 on you.
Yeah, it was like 104.6 or 4 to the
heavy gun. Don't pencil whip him. Don't pencil whip him.
You got to be precise when you're getting up there that high.
So, do you take them out next time and you say, "Oh, I saw 104.6. I'm going to reach back and get 104.7"?
No, I mean, I didn't
lie. You want that back. You want that again.
Hicks has already got me beat anyway. He hit 105 flat in 18, so he's already kind of got that all-time bragging right. I didn't hit 104 until like September last year, so maybe later in the year.
Oh, okay. When you gear it up for the playoff run?
Yeah, get some extra juice out there.
Do you ever go up to Wainwright and say, sorry, we're picking on Waino today, but do you ever go up to Wainwright and say, hey, my changeup is harder than your fastball?
No, I would never.
Why not? That go?
Why not? Dude, tell him I said it. He'll just laugh, I promise.
Yeah, he'll say it sometimes, like before we have meetings and stuff, obviously, in pitchers meetings, and we'll do like highlights of things we did good. And, if me or Hicks are throwing our sliders are 90 to 93, and he's like, dude, I don't even throw my fastball that hard. So he kind of plays his own jokes on himself.
I'm trying to find the Velo leaderboard here. So when you're looking at this, do you just see this on social, or do you check out like Baseball Savant to see, hey, who's pumping 105 these days in the league?
Yeah, like I follow Pitching Ninja, and I forgot another pitching page on Instagram, and usually those guys are all over it. And if anybody's hitting 104 or 105 or 103, even usually probably dominating out there, so he's usually getting posted, and I see it pretty quick.
Ryan, what would be your advice? I know Joyce just got hurt. What was it? The hand, right? Right hand irritation.
Yeah, right hand from throwing the ball too freaking hard. So his hand is sort of going.
Well, I was going to ask. I mean, it's a young guy just called up. I mean, very recently picked by the Angels. They're being aggressive with some of their guys, bringing them up to the show. And Joyce hadn't pitched, I think, at all back to back, right? In the minor.
Never pitched back to back.
So what would your advice be to guys like that who've got the velocity like you on how to take care of themselves and bounce back after appearances?
Yeah, it's tough, being in the big leagues, and you got to be ready to pitch every day. And I remember in 2019 when I was in the bullpen for the first time, you kind of feel some soreness and stuff that you never really felt before, and just kind of trying to navigate that. And, talking to other guys in the bullpen, and you can pitch through soreness, and obviously there's a difference between soreness and pain. So being able to differentiate between those two things is key, and obviously having a good routine every day and kind of getting your body in that mindset of being able to pitch every day and paying attention to it day in and day out.
What are you doing on your off day? As you're in St. Louis, right? So what do you do besides listening to Scott tell lies? What else are you going to do today?
What are you talking about?
Oh, we play San Fran tonight. We don't have off. I'm actually.
Oh, I thought you guys had off today.
We got San Fran for 3.
Oh, that's a big series, right?
Yeah. But usually maybe I just hang out with my family, hang out with my baby, hang out with my wife, we just chill, maybe go to the zoo or something, and go eat or have brunch. Just kind of take it easy, go walk around the park.
What's
Nothing too special.
What's the first thing you go and look at when you go to the zoo? What do you like? Ryan Helsley needs to go look at the tigers, or what is it? What's the animal?
Honestly, my favorite animal is probably a polar bear. I've always been fascinated. If I had to pick one, it'd be a polar bear.
They look like they're having so much fun. They look like they're like in the water. They're chilling out. I get that. I'm on with that. What do you think? You were talking about young guys coming up. Do you feel like teams, you know the Cardinals, do you feel like teams prepare guys to come into the big leagues to be a bullpen guy, or do you feel like teams are like, well, you're just doing the best, so you're going to get called up to the big leagues?
Yeah, I think so. I think they have a good system in AAA, trying to get guys, on a good schedule to kind of help their body build that, endurance and stuff and be able to handle that workload. And, most of the time when you get called up to the big leagues, you're probably not going to be pitching in, the most important situations. So, going back to back usually isn't that big of a deal when you come up, at least as a starter, because you're probably a guy that's going to throw 2 to 3 innings out of the bullpen and just try to eat some innings at first, and then maybe kind of gradually work your way into those bigger situations and then, kind of figure out how to navigate that soreness and be able to be available every day.
Ryan, I want to ask you about the team. Obviously, not still in the spot you guys want to be. Waino said you have to play perfect to win right now. Do you feel the same way? Like, take us through the day-to-day. Are there games where you're like, damn, pitching clicking, D clicking, we didn't score. Damn, we put up a ton, but we had a bad day on D or pitching wise. Do you feel like there's a lot of that going on, more so than the last few years?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like a lot of guys in that clubhouse have never really lost like this or, lose games the way we have. We've always been doing things the right way, like the small things, and, like Wayno said, it just kind of feels like there's another way we're losing a game every day or, we don't pitch today and we hit and give up 8 runs, but we scored 7, whatever it may be. And, we're just trying to figure out a way to, get rolling and, guys are showing up every day, optimistic and ready to go. And, vibes are still good in the clubhouse, guys are ready to go and, we have a lot of faith and belief in our team, but it's a tough game, everybody else on the other side of the, field's trying to win the game too. And you're going to get everybody's best effort day in and day out. There's no easy wins out there.
Are there any team meetings that have gone down?
Not really. We've had a couple. Nothing too crazy. Just guys, trying to say, still just keep the right mindset. Stay after it. It's a long season. Have 100 games left, and we can get on a roll and make a push. From I think we're 7 or 8 games back or whatever it is. Have 100 games to make up those 8 games. So just trying to take it one day at a time. And stay positive.
Do you know about the Cardinal rule with team meetings? Kratz, let's see if he knows. Otherwise, Kratz.
You can't say Cardinal rule to a Cardinal.
No, I said that on purpose.
Oh, that was a pun.
Do you know it, Ryan?
Mm-mm.
The number 1 rule with team meetings? Kratz, tell him.
What?
You got to have some stud going the next day. You can't have a AAA call up pitching the next day. You get a team meeting, and then boom, Waino's on the mound. Boom, Flaherty's throwing the next day. Like you're rolling out the hot hand. You're not like, hey, we should have a team. Oh wait, no, not tonight, not tonight.
You have to have the pitching matchup, basically, right? Like same thing. You don't want to do it when you're facing, I don't know, like McClanahan, which is what happened in with the Red Sox.
The Red Sox, like, we're gonna have a team meeting. Oh yeah, we're facing McClanahan and the Rays. They got whooped the next day. Bad timing.
Let's clean up the defense. Oh, we did, but we faced McClanahan.
You know what, Ozzy? I told you what Ozzy Guillen used to say about team meetings.
What?
Good teams win, bad teams have meetings.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't had meetings yet, so they still believe they're a good team. I like it. Has Ollie come in and like thrown the spread yet or anything?
No. He's talked to us, like early when we were struggling like really bad, and we kind of turned it around there for a little bit, and obviously been kind of scuffling here as of late. But no, I mean, I'm not in the dugout obviously very often, and so I don't really see kind of the hot side of him that people see when he's out there arguing with the umpires and stuff. But he's usually pretty calm by the time we get in there and eating after the game.
You know what you need to do? You need to get Joe McEwing going. You got to get Super Joe going somehow. Just go in there and just start yelling at him. I don't know, dude. Just get him going, because then he'll get all fired
Does Joe
up.
get hot?
Oh, his face turns all red. It's great. I mean, when he gets fired up, his face turns red. And it's Super Joe. I mean, have you seen him get mad yet?
No, honestly, I've talked to Joe a little bit, not a whole lot. I love Joe; he's a great guy. I haven't seen him flip a switch yet, so.
It was probably just hanging out with you.
True, he was my third base coach. And I'd be like, why don't you send the dude when I get the 1 hit a month with the runner on second?
Did you drive him crazy?
Of course, I drive every coach crazy.
Hey, we were talking about the other day, we were talking about chirping. Now, the Cardinals, when I first came to the big leagues in 2010, they were the like epitome of chirping. It was like La Russa, any pitch that like moved a hitter, La Russa was yelling. Big Mac was over there. Hey! And especially, are you guys big chirpers?
I think those guys like to have some fun in the dugout, and obviously we're in the bullpen, so you're not really chirping too much when you're 400 feet away in right center field. But I think those guys, have fun with it. I know in spring training, they'll chirp like that. Ball's close to the guy. Hey, watch out! Yell at the pitcher. I don't know that we're any more than the other team, but I know they like to have their fun for sure.
After you pitch, do you come in the dugout and chirp, or do you just go in and get your ice and get your mobs and get a little chest workout in?
Yeah, I'm not much of a crap talk type of guy. More of a just go out there and perform and let the other guys do their talking if that's their thing. That's not really my style.
Dude, Wayno's chirping. Come on. I played there. I played in St. Louis with Wayno.
But what kind of chirp?
It's like the funny, nerdy chirp.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's not, it's not
fun
like
stuff.
he's not. It's like, Wayno is like the nerdy. Oh, yeah, well, your mom, they're like,
He says that?
No, I don't know. I'm just saying, your mom can't hit,
Dad jokes?
Yeah, just stuff that you just look at him, you're like, come on, you're better than that.
What's his worst? What's his worst dad joke? What's Wayno's worst dad joke that he's told that you remember?
Worst dad joke? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I can't think of one honestly off the top of my head.
Are they bad though? Are they normally pretty bad?
No, he's usually good. He had never said anything, that's like caught me off guard or anything.
Okay.
My last question: are you doing chest workouts after your?
No. I usually don't do chest workouts. My thing is Tuesday, Friday. I work out no matter what because we usually have a game, to stay consistent. And I usually do 2 to 3 sets depending on how I feel. Usually like 5 sets or 5 reps. And after the game, I'll do some like shoulder stuff. Like get a little pump in the shoulder and maybe the triceps or forearms just to kind of get a nice little flush in there.
Are you excited to go to London next week?
Yeah, I think it's going to be cool. I'm not excited for that 7-hour flight, but it should be good.
You guys get 2 days off before? Is that right? 2 days off before?
Yeah, I believe it's 2.
So you leave Wednesday night, right? Red eye over. You have Thursday, Friday off, and then play Saturday, Sunday back.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay. Yeah. Are you going to get some tea
and crimpets?
I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll have to figure that out.
Have you ever been over there?
Never been over there.
Okay. You got to do the whole shopping. You got to go to Harrods and do the whole shopping thing. You got to go to Buckingham Palace and stand in front of the guards and try to make them laugh. And they're all.
He's got to work.
Yeah,
he's got 2 days off. He's got Thursday and Friday off.
Well, no, but they fly there.
Okay, they'll take the red eye. They'll be there Thursday morning.
Okay.
So they'll probably have all day Thursday off. They'll probably have a light workout on Friday. They'll throw some 100-mile-an-hour bullpen.
So he's got like a day and a half ish.
Okay.
Big
Ben.
So you make the itinerary for him, but you can't have him run around to 7 things. Like,
okay, you got to give
him 3 things.
Okay, Big Ben and Westminster Abbey are right next to each other. That's one. You got to do that, right? The Tower of London is not far. You got to do that, and you got to go to Harrods. Those are like the 3 things you have to do in London.
That I feel.
And they're not that far from you. London's not that big.
No, that's reasonable.
They're very in Trafalgar Square and all that. They're all right there. It's not like they're spread out all over the place. You've never been to London, clearly.
Obviously, I've been to London.
So, and go on the eye too. Go on the eye.
Anything else?
I mean, get some fish and chips. Go to some pubs. get a snake bite or two. There's a lot of things.
You know what stood out too is, Ryan, you said, 7-hour flight because you're in the middle of the country. So you don't have to deal with that stuff. Like some of the teams, you're in Miami and you're going West Coast, or you're West Coast and you're going to the Northeast. You guys in the Midwest, that's the one thing that you have it good with, right?
Yeah, no doubt. And especially when we had more, games in our division. We played however many games, 60 or 70, however many it was. Our furthest flight in division was like an hour, I think, so our travel was super easy. And then, this year we're playing all the teams, which I like. I like playing everybody, and travel's a lot harder. But I can't imagine being in Seattle, having your shortest flight's 2 hours no matter where you go. It's got to take a toll on guys.
Well, enjoy it, dude. We'll talk to you when you get back. Try to at least accomplish one of AJ's 30 things to do. All right.
Dude, London's awesome.
No, I know.
London's great. Oh, have you?
Yes. Cheerio, Ryan. Great to see you, man. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Cheers, man.
Thanks, Ryan.
Ryan Helsley of the St. Louis Cardinals with us on FT Live.